Tom, can I interest you in a bedtime story?
I would actually love that, Joe, because as we're recording this at 7:52, which, as we all know, is my bedtime, and I actually am already in my long muslin robe, and I have my sleeping cap on. Let me just I put down my drippy tray with a candle on it, a candle I got from hell. It's actually a little man. And let me tuck myself into my bed, which is actually your sock drawer. And give me a bedtime story, Joe.
Sure. So this was the day after the election. I want to just give you a collection of details about how I kind of currently feel about things, and I hope they will be illustrative. So as you know, I live in a hell tower where there's no plumbing and everything is fucked up. I live from the tower from the raid.
Yeah. You're one of the normal guys who pays rent to the crime man.
Yeah, the guy who's like trying to like cook dinner when the machete guys are like stabbing through the wall. Like, that's me. So I'm like, you know what? I've been inside a lot. I'm going to go for a walk. I wait for the elevator. To leave my building, it typically takes about 20 minutes. The reason for which there's two elevators. One is committed to construction all the time, and the other one, because of health precautions, you can only have two people to an elevator. So you could see how you could quickly fuck all that up. So anyway, about a half hour later, I get to the ground, and I'm immediately greeted by a tactical chud with a gun and like a weird faded American flag mask. And I'm like, oh, I'm dead.
Joe, two questions. One, are we talking handgun or long gun?
Folks, it was a long gun. It was a scary gun.
Question number two, faded American flag mask, normal colors or thin blue line colors?
See, this is, I think, the business casual version of that, because it didn't have the stark colors, but like still the faded American flag, those colors are still pretty fashy feeling.
Yeah. So what was this guy there for? What was his deal? Why did this occur?
I reminded that because my building is also a polling place, I was sent a letter by the counter board reassuring me that there'll be additional armed guards for the remainder of the week due to the election and assumed civil unrest. And I was like, oh, duh, how could I forget fucking about that? Okay, so I leave, and I'm treated to a beautiful 70-degree day because the planet is cooking. And I walk to Walgreens, the reason for which I need brain pills. I got to get them. These brain pills, the problem is, like, when you get your brain fixed with pills, you got to keep doing it.
Yeah. The pill, all it does is it looks at the boot print on your brain and is like, well, that's not supposed to be there. And it puts some spackle in there. And listener out there, I don't know if you know this, but the boot stamps on your brain every single day. So that boot print's going to need to get spackled in constantly.
Yeah, and the problem is with this new medicine, if I don't get spackle in 24 hours, I start to feel it. So I'm going to Walgreens, which I actually thought was closed because it was all boarded up in anticipation of civil unrest. But anyway, it was fine. I go in there, and then I don't get the medicine because of insurance issues. That doesn't matter. Fuck. So as I'm walking home, I'm feeling, I don't know how to describe this feeling, melancholy. The election just happened. At this point, it was looking a certain way, but nothing was determined. And I walk by a GameStop, and I like just sort of had this realization that, like, is this sort of like what is going to be the endless loop, that like there's just outside pressure, and then I escape into like dopamine into my hobby until eventually like my body gives up, and I start thinking about that, and I was like, no. I know the right answer. So I get a gyro instead.
In many ways, the gaming of food.
Yeah. And I go to, to not think about gaming, I go to the gyro place, and it's, like, my favorite place in the world because it's one of those, like, Chicago places where, like, they'll just fucking fry anything. It's like, you want a catfish dinner? Can I get you a pizza? Like,
one of the first things we did together as homies is you took me and some other friends to this place, and it is, as you described, like just one of the most incredible places because like it's simultaneously like very shitty, but because of that it's very good. Yes.
Every wall has like a weird poster of the Kronos gyro meat lady, but they're all like sun faded. Like they
come like that from the factory. They don't print them with all the ink.
I was just about to make that joke. Fuck.
I think it's been made a few times.
Yeah. Anyway, so I get that, and then I start to walk back, and I just sort of run through all these details I just explained to you, and I'm just sort of like, I stop on the street, and I look at my reflection for a little bit, and then it occurs to me as I'm replaying what just happened, my depression's getting like way better. It's so much better. It's crazy how much better it is lately.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast. And on this podcast, what we do, would you believe, that we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
And I'm Joe, an anime sicko.
Joe, I don't know if you know this. This is a pretty small detail. It's kind of easy to get lost in the shuffle. We're recording this on November 7th, so maybe maybe you didn't hear about this yet. It's kind of new. Donald Trump died. He's lost and he died. He went to Four Seasons Landscaping and he saw Fantasy Island adult books across the street and he got a boner so big he died.
Yeah. The reason the boner killed him, from what I've heard, is that it was so sudden and strong that his pants ripped, and somehow the physics were such that the threads from the pants like strangled him.
Yeah, it formed a noose. And then also, I think this is sort of a underreported detail, but at the same time that the noose formed around his neck, his dick exploded and shot him into the air. And then the noose was trailing behind him like a kite string. Yeah. And he went over a traffic light and it got tangled. And, you see how it goes.
Yeah. Onlookers agreed that he had what was described as havoc physic engine like movements. He was ragdolling very hard.
It was big time Gary's Mod mode. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Donald Trump lost the election. It remains to be seen that he will cede power, but it looks like it's over for him, which, to be clear, is good.
Yeah, it's good that he feels bad. Everything that happens, that like he has to feel like humiliation and shame, like that improves no one's lives. But man, it really feels good.
And this is also the first time I've ever been wrong about anything, because I've went on record early in Donald Trump's presidency saying that I believed he would be president for life, and I hoped that I would be proven right by him dying midway through the first term. But I was proven wrong because he fucking lost, and that's great. I've never been wrong before. All of my opinions about Bloodborne are right. So yeah, it's been really interesting to have that happen to me, and I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, which is why it might be useful to remind everyone like what type of work lies before us.
Yeah, and I think a really good way to sort of summarize what's gonna happen, because it's easy to feel good right now. I feel good right now. A lot of people feel
great.
Good right. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit parties outside. People love that he died. But one thing that we have to remember is that the machine, there's a big one, the machine, it's going to get blood.
Folks, the machine's going to get blood. I hate the machine. I want to be clear. We are not stewards of the machine.
We're anti-machine.
We hate it.
If it was up to me, if someone gave me some blood and said, give this to the machine, I'd be like, I'm actually going to give the blood back to the guy it came from.
Yeah.
Then
I don't plug the machine, frankly.
Yeah. So if you don't know about this machine, let me take you on a little journey. A long time ago, Joe and I sort of came to the conclusion that nothing like good, like really good, could ever happen on a macro scale again. Like anything good happening is happening to like one person tops. Like the goodest thing that could happen is like I get a cookie.
Yeah. I see someone do like an ollie. That's cool.
Yeah. But like would there ever be some new policy that's enacted that makes like anyone who gets an Ollie gets universal basic income? No, because that'd be good for a lot of people. That can't happen. So we agreed to that, and we thought that this was what was true, and we started believing it. Now this is right, like we're right. This belief is true. But we came to that conclusion sort of arbitrarily. We just sort of decided, like, I think this is right, and we happened to be correct. But, like, we didn't know the theory behind it.
Yeah. Like, we guessed gravity on the first go.
Yeah, we're like, if I drop something, it's going to fall down. And, like, that's right, but, like, well, you don't know why. Now we know why. We, like, found out the 9.8 meters per second shit. Like, we can prove it now, and the reason why nothing good can happen, and the reason why Joe Biden's presidency, which... thank God it's not a fucking Donald Trump presidency, but the reason that that's not going to be good either is that the machine is going to get blood.
It's not like the machine wants blood. It will get blood.
And, like, the machine doesn't use the blood for anything. Like, the machine's not using the blood as fuel.
It just likes it.
Yeah, and it's going to get it. Like, I give you some examples. If you're like, Tom, what are you talking about? Well, some easy things to overlook from this election, especially focusing on the top good thing, is that everything that could happen that was bad happened. For example, you might know about Proposition 22 in California that said that it's now legal to hunt Uber and Lyft drivers for sport.
Yeah. You could only have, like, 2 trophies of a slain Uber driver in your private residence, but you can hunt them as many times as you want.
Yeah. And when they reproduce too much, it's actually, they can call for a cull, and then it's required that you hunt them. So this is the worst thing in the world, and evil. And it passed. Like, it passed so hard. And
people lined up, and we were like, I can't wait to give the machine some blood.
It passed really hard, and a lot of people. And another thing, even a little closer to home, in Illinois, there was a constitutional amendment on the ballot.
Okay, let me do this one. This is lower stakes than Prop 22, which I think will be recreated elsewhere. This is just infuriating from like what Illinois is. Illinois is a stupid thing called the state constitution, and but in it there's also a part that's very bad, and it says the state income tax has to be like flat or something. Like you basically can't have a progressive income tax at the state level. Now that's dumb, right? Because that means no matter what, you can't raise taxes without like effectively taxing poor people and rich people at the same rate. There was a ballot initiative that would change the amendment that would basically be like, we can get rid of this and we can have a graduated income tax at the state level. And basically this was a perfect chance to get money from rich people.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, it was not a referendum like, should we raise taxes? It was, should we change the Constitution so that it's possible to make rich people pay money to the government without you having to pay money to the government also?
Right. It did not pass, and which is amazing because like 97% of the state would not like really notice a tax increase. And what's so funny is like many states that have a major metro area and a bunch of rural areas, a lot of people downstate often see Chicago, rightfully so, is like controlling the state, and they often want to punish them. This was like this was the chance to do that. Like this was the chance
to get those elitist fat cats in Chicago to pony up some cash to help pay for the little guy downstate.
And folks, they chunked it. It was really bad. Everyone thought really hard, and they thought, like, actually, people like J.B. Pritzker shouldn't have to pay more. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to see all this shit happen and be like, how is this possible? Like, how did this happen that these ballot measures where the right choice is so clear, where it's so obvious what your self-interest is? How is it possible that instead the side that makes life worse and hurts people wins? Well, because the machine will get blood.
machine will get blood. We are surrounded by people who are very good stewards of the machine. Amy McGrath is a wonderful steward of the machine. She got $88 million worth of blood to lose to McConnell by 20 points or whatever. And she got to set it on fire. The machine loves that. So the machine's not getting blood from that, but it's getting like...
Oh, no, dude. Yes, it is. Okay. Joe, if you had $88 million, if someone put that in your fucking bank account and said, hey, you got to spend all this in a month.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Think of how many lives, think of how many people died in Amy McGrath's campaign that could have lived if they had some of that money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Their blood went straight to the machine.
I retract my statement. Let me phrase it, I think, in a more grounded way. Amy McGrath sits atop a throne of skulls.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, cool. But anyway, she is a very good steward of the machine. Like, losing is actually winning when you're doing it for the machine that craves blood. And to be clear, it gets it.
It gets it every time. In my opinion, it's gonna get that blood. Like it will. Like, it's not even a question. And here's the thing that you got to know about the machine is that it doesn't go out and get blood. Like, it doesn't collect the blood. Like, people got to take the blood to the machine and give it to it. But it's gonna get that blood anyway. Another great steward of the blood. You're gonna love this, Joe. You remember Robbie Mook? You familiar with this guy?
Yeah. He's got sort of a Three Stooges energy to elections that I really appreciate. He's like constantly in a kitchen trying to bake a cake, and he's covered in flour. Company's always about to come over.
He was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager in 2016, and he was handed the easiest election to win in the world.
Yeah, or so he assured us. I would rate his performance a solid D-.
Yeah. He pretty much did the one thing you don't want your campaign manager to do.
Yeah, which is chunk it.
Yeah, he chunked it big time. And if you don't know about the machine, if you think the machine might get blood, if you think the machine really wants blood, you might be forgiven for thinking, like, well, he's definitely going to lose his career as a strategist election-wise because he's bad at it.
What he actually is...
I don't know if you've heard about this machine.
He's MVP blood deliverer, like, now I think 8 years running.
He sure is, because would you believe he got new work from the Democratic Party being the strategist for their overall House races during this election. And if you have been following the House races, whoa-wee, the Democrats did way bad. They lost way more than they thought. Ooh, oh no. And you might be like, how did this happen? Who thought this was a good idea? I'll tell you who, the people who wanted to get some blood to that machine real quick. Because Robbie Mook fucking killed it on that front.
It is. I erroneously said he was like the Three Stooges. He's the guy that keeps giving them jobs.
He is. He gives them fucking blood, dude. The machine. So here's the thing about the machine. Now, this is just my thoughts. You know, I can't prove this. But if I had to guess, I would say that it's going to get blood. I mean, I would say that people are going to give it blood, like, forever. I would say that when you go into a voting booth, what you're really looking at is a piece of paper where every single bubble has the word blood next to it, and there is a referendum at the bottom that says, should we give the machine blood? And there's only one answer, and it says yes, and you go up to the election judge, and you're like, excuse me, I think there's a printing error on my ballot. There's only one answer for this referendum. And then they open their mouth, and a big stream of blood comes out, and you get scared and leave.
Yeah. That's it. And here's the thing that a lot of people might be like, oh, you're being coy about, like, you're saying capitalism will grind us all down. I don't know how to tell you this, nerds. We're not talking about capitalism. The machine is real.
Yeah, this is not some kind of metaphor. It's big. Ohio went away a while ago, and now the entire state is where the machine is. It's very big. You can hear it from Chicago. It's so loud. It's very scary.
Yeah. Previously, you know all those, like, weird stories about the tunnels under the Denver airport? That's where it used to be.
It used to be mobile. It used to be able to like sort of crawl around and people would go and give it blood. That's actually why people think that the blood is the fuel and that it needs the blood.
It's unrelated.
No, it's unrelated. The machine now in its new location doesn't actually function at all. Like a lot of people are like, why don't we unplug the machine? The machine is like scissors. Like it doesn't need power. It's just like it is what it is, and what it is it gets blood. It doesn't take blood. Like, it does not go out and get the blood. You have to deliver it to the machine. Like for example, Joe, did you remember earlier this year there was a big survey in the city of Chicago about like, hey, what do you think that we should spend the city's money on in 2021? Do you remember taking that?
Yeah, I remember. The choices were blood or no blood. And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. What happened was everybody picked no blood, but then the mayor was like, "Oh, you guys meant blood."
Yeah, pretty much. There was like an 80% of respondents were like, "Please lower the police budget." And Lori Lightfoot, the dumbest person on the planet, was like, "Well, that's not going to work because the machine will get blood." So.
Yeah, we have a mayor who gets very concerned that the machine gets dry. Which sucks because, as we established, the machine is in Ohio. So the fact that she's so concerned with this monstrosity,
it's very bad. And one thing that sort of opens your eyes when you know about this, there's a lot of these sort of truths that we talk about on Anime Sickos that make you understand the absurdity of the world when you understand this principle.
Yeah, you get the they live glasses.
Exactly. This particular pair makes everything say blood. You may be familiar with the genre of feel-good news story where the news is like this 100-year-old quadriplegic woman has to walk, and I don't know how she does it, 100 miles to work at Walmart where she's the whipping boy every day, and she makes, they pay her with a single sack of turnips a month. But then all of her coworkers got together. They took their sacks of turnips and sold them to the turnip exchange and ground up enough money to buy her a car so she doesn't have to walk to Walmart every day. Oh, how heartwarming.
These local kids are being paid $1 every time they eat an entire aluminum can by a strange old man. And would you believe it? They're banding together to get school marching band uniforms.
You see these articles and you get pissed off. You're like, this isn't a feel-good story at all. Why is this even getting framed this way? It should be getting framed as a big injustice, at which it rightfully is. It shouldn't be framed as an exciting novelty.
Yeah, the issue is, though, you think your level of understanding of the issue is that I can't believe people see this is good. And the honest truth, from our perspective, we can't understand how someone could see this as bad. Because what these stories actually say is, can you believe it? The machine didn't get all this person's blood.
Yeah, it's it's blows my mind because the machine's going to get blood. Like, we know that. Like, that's true.
The machine works very well. It very rarely has, like, errors where it's not going to get all the blood.
Joe, I think you're personifying the machine.
Again, it's like scissors, right? It's scissors. Scissors do not err.
Yeah, you're anthropomorphizing the machine. The machine gets blood delivered to it, and it does not use the blood for anything. It doesn't need it. It's not going to hurt if it gets dry. It just gets the blood.
And I was wrong to anthropomorphize it, but I want to be clear that it does have a human face.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It has many of them, and they are constantly shifting. And they say words to you that if you hear them, you go mad. But, we know the machine's going to get blood. And if I know one thing about a person, it's that every single drop of their blood is going to get wrung out of them and go to the machine.
Yeah. So when you get a story like this is like a miracle.
Yeah.
This is the moon landing.
There's like a drop of blood that they're leaving in her. It's there's no purpose to it. It's not as though her blood has any value to the machine in any context other than it being given to.
Yeah.
And
it's just like someday I imagine Caesar let like a really shitty gladiator live just because he was feeling it.
It's true, dude. Oh, God. So this might sound pretty nihilistic, especially, everyone's feeling high and good about, Biden winning, or more accurately, Trump losing.
Yeah.
So it might feel nihilistic and sort of doomy that we're talking about the machine getting blood at this time. It might seem like we're trying to get you down. We're not. The fact that the machine will have blood, that shouldn't like get you down and make you feel hopeless. What it should do is it should make you game more.
Yeah, they got games on the computer now.
Yeah, they're really good, dude. Like, you can be an anime boy in them. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know if I'm going to play it, but I saw this game where, like, you're a dwarf colony, not Dwarf Fortress. This has pictures. I don't know. They look pretty good. They look like a good way to keep my awful thoughts at bay for a little bit.
Yeah. Like, the machine that's getting the blood is not your PC. Like, you can play a game on that. Your blood stays in. It's still going to eventually get given to the machine, but until that happens, you can game. And, like, gaming fucking whips. Like,
it's really no good. It sucks that I'm compelled to do it. But maybe it's just the jazz elation of knowing Trump lost. But I looked at the Steam page today, and I saw a bunch of tags that made me think I could get some dopamine out of those words.
I mean, like, that's all you can do, really. Like, a lot of people, a lot of lefties online who are, like, serious about it, who have, like, read theory, are like, folks, the time for small steps is over. If you're a real leftist, you're going to have to arm yourself. You're going to have to group up with like-minded people and start sort of semi-autonomous states that are self-sustaining. And I look at that and my brain goes through a few steps. One is, well, the machine's going to get blood, so that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And two, like, I'm 30. I know myself. There's no fucking way I'm going to be able to make do subsisting in a leftist commune. You gotta let me game. I can't stress this enough. You gotta let me game. If there is a situation where I can't game, I'm sorry. I'm opting out.
The thing we have to also emphasize is that the scientists showed us the heat curve for global warming, and there's not a projection that's like Joe stops gaming and then you see like the temperature go like back below the 2 degrees Celsius hell point. That doesn't happen. So in many ways you have to let me do it.
It's true. So yeah.
Can I close this sort of bleak segment out with something that I think will lift everyone?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Chrono Arc is a party-based deck-building roguelike single-player RPG game about rescuing the world from chaos. Recruit, train, and build a team of unique investigators throughout the abandoned land and restore the twisted world.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah, I liked all those words.
I mean, I feel like the time that it takes for the stewards of the machine to come collect my blood, I could fill it with that shit, and I'd feel real good.
Actually, I'm a Biden guy now. I've Biden optimism because now Steam has a tag that is roguelike deck builder. Like previously, those were 2 tags, and now this is 1.
We just did a whole fucking segment on how the machine will get blood, and now you're like, I think the machine's not going to get any blood. This is the kind of fallacious thinking that makes us despair. When we were like, I think that my blood and the blood of everyone I care about is staying on the inside, and then the stewards of the machine show up, and we're like, oh, there was never a chance of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same forces that made Prop 22 pass also made those words appear in front of me in that order.
Yeah. Okay, it's a tough situation. It's very complex, and it's hard to deal with in a way that leaves you feeling good, other than just anesthetize yourself with gaming, which is what I'm doing. But here's actually something I just thought up that I think this conclusion sort of sums it all up, and it's going to give you a very sort of cogent action point to go forward with. That's going to really equip you for success in the world and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So in conclusion, we have really been killing it lately with this anime podcast.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good anime content lately.
Yeah, we just continually make an anime podcast where we talk about anime, and that's the topic.
Folks, we love it. Anime, can't get enough of it.
The machine will get blood.
Fruit. By definition, the sweet and fleshy product of a tree or other plant that contains seeds and can be eaten as food. "48 combatants have been selected. 2 sickos will judge them. 1 will be crowned greatest fruit under the heavens. This is the Fruit Annihilation Tournament!
Boom, bam, 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 Fruit Annihilation Tournament. It's the fruit tournament. Bam, kaboom. We're going to do it. We're going to close out round 1 by doing all of the round 1 bouts in the Rebels region of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament. The region where it's very clearly labeled that these are fucking entrants that barely qualify as fruit. And yet, anytime someone looks at these, they say, these barely qualify as fruit. I'll kill you and send us a mail bomb.
Yeah. Why are you punishing us for being right?
I don't know, dude. I think they're jealous.
Yeah. So who are the buys in this? Who are like the top 4 people that we will not see fight today?
So those 4 are in the 4 seed. Yeah, avocado. People get really pissed that this is considered a fruit. In the 3 seed, we got coconut. That's technically a seed, but it's a fucking fruit. Seed number 2, we got tomato.
Ooh,
that's like the classic like grade school smartass being like, tomato is actually a fruit, and you get mad at them. The people are getting mad at us. I don't think that's fair. And of course, the top seed in the Rebels region is the one that has caused me to receive the most threats of violence. That's gonna be coffee.
Yeah, coffee is cherry seeds, right? Or a type of cherry.
Yeah, there's a cherry. It's a special cherry that you don't eat it. It would taste quite bad.
Yeah.
But the pit, well, that's coffee.
Yeah. If you ate the cherry, you'd get diarrhea. You have to make coffee, which does the same.
Yeah, but it's pleasant in a way. So we do have 4 bouts of the remainder. Let's just get through it. And Joe, just full disclosure, we're peeling back the curtain here. We already recorded this entire episode once before.
Yeah, it turns out I unplugged my computer with my foot because I can't sit still. So it's very possible that whatever I agreed to, like whatever I believed about fruit in that recording, that's lost to time.
Yeah.
So if you believe we're going to revisit a past decision and realize, oh, we were wrong, like we will, but we're not going to change anything.
Yeah. Like, Joe, I remember one time previously on the show, we had incredible sicko and good buddy Andrew Sherman on. And Andrew, using fucking the dumbest logic I've ever heard, convinced you to agree that cranberries were better than apricots. And one time after that, like a week or two after that, I sort of made a sort of a joke about how you had done that, about how you had said cranberries were good, and you didn't get it. Like, you didn't know what I meant.
Yeah, I didn't understand your words. I got upset.
Yeah, didn't like Winnie like call you out for one of your fruit opinions, and you're like, I don't remember saying that.
Oh yeah, Winnie. I get a talking to at the dining room table about fruit opinions a lot, and yeah, I got roasted once about something I said. She was like, "That's so embarrassing that you said that. That's not true." And I literally do not remember what I said.
So yeah, it's the point being the fact that we're redoing all these rounds. It doesn't mean we know what the winners will be or why you'll pick them.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, though, folks, because it's the fucking fruit tournament. Let's just get to it. Let's do it. Our first round in the Rebels region is the 5 seed of jackfruit versus the 12 seed of durian. Joe, what do you think about this?
Well, we know durian is the stinky fruit. Like, it's the stinky thing that sucks.
It's the yucky fruit that smells bad. It's very stinky.
Yeah, my understanding is that it's the only fruit that sucks so bad it was taken out of Animal Crossing. Like, that is Yeah, that's a devastating L for a fruit.
Wait, okay. So the Switch Animal Crossing, the biggest and best one yet. They were like, "Ooh, we got to hang sure we have all the old content plus some new stuff." But wait, take out the durian.
Yeah, there was also like different because like there's only coconuts in the new Animal Crossing, but like there was like 4 different tropical like palm tree produce options, and they killed durian. It was so disgusting. It brought so much dishonor into the joy of putting things in your pocket that they had to get rid of it.
Okay, what about, Joe, in Super Mario Sunshine when you're in the beautiful shiny town, the lovely seaside town? You can make Mario carry around little durians. What do you think about that?
I think that game's a fucking psyop because it's unbelievably hard, but it's like aggressively happy and like it plays like fun music as you like want to like break the controller. So I don't like that either.
Yeah, that's true. I heard some fucking video man on the internet be like, Super Mario Sunshine's pretty easy because of the hover nozzle. And I'm like, eat shit. No, it's not. Fuck you.
He's lying because there's the horrible parts where it's like Yoshi has to get to the island. And it's like, oh, by the way, if Yoshi touches water, he dies.
Yeah, also you die. Also everything dies. Also, the place you gotta get Yoshi, you have to take 15 little boats. And they go very slow and are far away. Better jump correctly.
Yeah. So Durian is responsible for everything we just said.
Joe. However, you're playing Breath of the Wild. You're playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You see a hardy durian in the distance. Ooh, that's good because that's going to fully refill your health when you cook it. What do you think? Does that change anything?
I don't remember the cooking part. I remember like finding out what was like the most basic recipe and just like endlessly spamming that. So I don't think durian was part of that. So I don't have any affection for that.
Yeah, you solved my puzzle. You passed the test because radishes do the same thing but better, and they don't have stinky.
Yeah. So the other combatant is jackfruit, which is actually a pretty cool fruit. It looks not great aesthetically.
I mean, honestly, this is kind of a mirror match, at least if you're not into martial arts. Like, if you don't understand the differences of their fighting styles, you might be like, I'm looking at 4 crusties. I'm seeing double. Because, like, they're both sort of, like, yellowish, brownish fruits that are spiky on the outside. Like, I see jackfruits, like, full jackfruits at Jungbu, and they look like just long durians, basically.
Yeah, the thing is, jackfruits can be made to simulate pulled pork, an experience I had back when there were restaurants that I liked going to. This was at Bonus Round Cafe, which is a wonderful establishment in Chicago that I highly recommend. I think they have a GoFundMe going right now because of Rona stuff. You should absolutely check them out. But
yeah, literally every single part of their business model, which is like come pay and play our board games with your friends in the same room and also eat. That's all impossible. So yeah, please give them money.
Yeah. Yeah, we had part of your bachelor party there. We played games.
Yeah, it kicked ass. I love them. But you had jackfruit there. And okay, so this is interesting to me because I know that that's like a thing that people like tout, that like the jackfruit is like a meat replacement. And I believe it. Like I'm not some guy who hates meat replacements on principle. I actually like a lot of them. So I got some jackfruit once from the store, like the health food section. And I actually didn't like it that much, but I could tell as I was eating it that the reason I didn't like it was I didn't like the seasoning that they'd put on it. So tell me about this. Tell me about this fucking jackfruit you had. Paint me the picture.
It tasted like a pulled pork sandwich. Like it was obviously, I don't want to say obviously. It was not actual animal meat, but the flavor and texture were so like on track that it was like, with this information and that experience, I've just learned that pulled pork comes out of the ground.
Yeah, they grow it from tree.
Yeah, it's fine.
The fact that like some people actually take the pulled pork out of an animal is like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I want to eat that shit. How do I get that? All restaurants are gone now. I have to order delivery and make peace with the fact that like 40% of the price is going to like the machine. It's the blood to the machine.
Yeah. There's a bunch of apps in the way that make sure that the machine gets its cut.
The Grubhub fee is the fee that they pay the steward of the machine to go and extract the blood from your delivery person. Or I gotta go and fucking drive and pick it up, which that sucks shit. I'm not gonna do that. So I hate to just sort of like wrap these rounds up quick, where we give the higher seed the win easily with no effort, but it really feels like that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah. This would happen at a tournament.
Yeah. This is like a mirror match where two guys from the same like dojo face off, and one of them...
What is the My Hero Academia fight where the two hard guys punch each other till they both pass out?
Yeah, it's that.
It's this, but like one of them's way worse.
One of them's way worse and has such stinky BO. Like everyone hates that he's there. That's what this is. Jackfruit wins, Durian loses. Bye-bye, next round. Next one is the 7 seed of Mulberry versus the 10 seed of Starfruit. Joe, where are you at with this?
Mulberry, I don't think I've had. I think they grow locally, but I've never seen it at a store.
Yeah, so here's what my thoughts are, and, this could be wrong, but this is what my experience has been. What I understand is that mulberries are sort of like a native to the U.S., native North America fruit, grows on a tree, little berries. And from my experience with them, because I grew up with a mulberry tree in my neighbor's yard, and it hung over my yard, and we were able to pick mulberries from it. We were allowed. So I've had experience with mulberries, and like knowing what I know about other unshippable fruits, what I think is the case is that a mulberry is unshippable because like it's little, it's squishy, it doesn't have a lot of structure to it, and it contains the most purple liquid in the universe that will permanently stain anything.
Yeah, like it's the stuff they put in the bags at banks.
Yeah, they just put a bunch of mulberries. So here's my mulberry story, Joe.
Just to clarify, you're saying just the weight of other mulberries makes shipping it an issue.
I believe so. I think that this is the case. There's some other fruit that I don't... You remember Allie from Shufflecast? She told us about this fruit that is apparently another, North American native that no one knows about because you can't ship it because when you put them in a box, they get smushed. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called a pawpaw.
Okay, yeah, pawpaw.
I looked it up. It is the pawpaw. Yeah, I think it's like that. So I'll just tell you my mulberry story, which is this. I grew up, again, with this in the backyard. There was a mulberry tree overhanging. We were able to go and pick mulberries from it whenever we wanted. And mulberries, they grow in abundance on these trees. And they're these little berries. They look like blackberries that got shrunk down. They sort of don't have the robust structure of a blackberry. They're much mushier.
They look like
smaller
blackberry larvas.
Yes. They taste fucking good. I don't know how to explain it. They taste like purple berries. They're really nice, and I like them. And that's my story.
Well, I have a fun childhood anecdote that I think will be illustrative. We didn't have a mulberry tree. We had a crabapple tree. It sucked. They taste like shit, like on purpose. But then, whenever we got them, they were like the worst ones left over.
Crabapple is the funniest word because it's like, how do we name this fruit so that everyone knows that it's saying "fuck you" to you?
Yeah. So I don't really relate to your whimsical story of your like Narnia home.
Okay. Well, then how about Starfruit? Like, we can't just hand a loss to Mulberry because you don't like my Narnia tale. It has to lose to something. What about Starfruit? Can Starfruit win?
Well, I think it can because it delivers on its name. That shit checks out.
It do look like a star.
Yeah. So aesthetically, it's got something going for it. Mulberry, I will never see because if you put two of them together, they disappear like Tetris blocks.
Yeah. But okay, and another thing in Starfruit's favor, I've never had one, of course, but I have seen that they are shaped like stars, which is that's something. But in Stardew Valley, if you eat a starfruit, a bunch of beams of light go into you, and you're able to swing your axe a few more times before you pass out.
That's good in aggregate, but like a single stamina upgrade from one of those fruits is like a spit in the face. It's you can swing your axe 3 more times before the doctor finds you in the field.
Okay, no, I agree. Actually, I want to actually look up a video of this because I believe I'm with you, and I agree with that. Like in the macro sense, that like us getting told that like, by the way, your stamina is upgraded, that doesn't hit hard. But I want to look up the actual process of eating it because I believe there is an animation that whips ass. So I'm going to take a little break and look for that. Okay, I'm back and I saw it. So what happens is you eat this fucking fruit and you float in the air and shining starlight sprinkles all around you as beams of light enter you, and your energy meter, your stamina meter, starts to shake as it stretches, and it looks like it's straining to increase in size. It stretches before your very eyes as it vibrates and gets bigger.
I put so much time into Stardew Valley, and I don't remember this at all. Are you fucking with me? You're telling me that your stamina bar gets goatsy stretched by 2 hands when you eat the fucking fruit?
Yeah, you do. It does. It definitely. I mean, the reason why, Joe, is because there's like 3 of these fruits in the game, and the sum total of times that this happens is like, I don't know, 12 seconds out of 200 hours. So that's why you fucking forgot.
Most of that which is spent in the mine.
Exactly. But Joe, so that sounds like I just said something in Starfruit's favor about how badass it is. How about how you can float when you eat it.
Yeah.
But here's another uncovered secret I came up with when I checked the tapes. That shit you eat that make you do that is called a star drop. Star fruit in Stardew Valley is just some normie crop. Boo!
Okay, we have a combatant in this tournament that was trying to steal Valor, which is an ultimate offense.
He had the goatsy badge on his sash, and we just proved that he never did it.
So my question is there a fight, or is this like a doctor comes out and says this is illegal?
I think, yeah, it's definitely that. Starfruit is disqualified for fraud, and it went to jail.
Okay, cool.
All right, bye-bye. Mulberry wins. On to the next round. We have the 8 seed, a fruit that makes everyone go, what is this, and why did you put it here? Ugly. Or oogly? I don't know. It's not spelled like the word ugly. There's an I at the end. Maybe it's pronounced the same. I don't know.
Oogly, ugly.
Oogly. The reason we put it there is because we opened up a Wikipedia page that was called List of Fruit, and it was there, and we needed 48.
Nice job, Ugly, and being the top 48.
Its combatant, of course, is the 9 seed of Gooseberry. Joe, do you have any history with either of these fruits?
This might shock you. I do not have any charming childhood anecdotes about either of these. Gooseberry seems like a thing that I would only hear in a poem I have to read in like 6th grade English. So what is a gooseberry as it relates to like a blueberry?
Okay. So I haven't had many gooseberries, but my wife, she has grown up out of the country. Her parents were working internationally as she was growing up, so she spent most of her life not in the U.S. I am very jealous. Apparently, outside of the U.S., gooseberries are really common. Like, you can eat them all the time. And I've had a few of them. And they, how do I describe it? I think the best way is to say that they are like if grapes were good. And also if grapes had a little crown. Because there's like a little thing of leaves right at the top that spreads out and looks like it's wearing a happy crown.
Yeah, I firmly still remember and believe grapes are bad.
I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Hold up one second. Actually, I want to search an image of gooseberries so that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking out of my ass. Okay, yes, I was thinking of the right thing. Everything I said is correct. Oh, holy shit, though. Okay. I'm seeing a story on Google saying how the once banned gooseberry has made a comeback in the U.S.
Oh, this is like... So now I'm starting to feel like gooseberry was stuck on sort of a prison island.
Yeah, gooseberry is definitely like a dangerous knife man.
Yeah.
Like Gooseberry has killed. Like Gooseberry is murdered.
And will kill again.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine if in the Hunter exam, when Killua hands the big scary guy his heart in a bag, imagine if that guy was real and didn't suck.
Yeah, he knew Nen. He didn't suck ass and lose to Killua immediately. I think that's what Gooseberry. That's the vibe it's giving me right now. It was banned in the U.S. I think what's happening now in this tournament is the time has come to like carry out Gooseberry's execution. And the governor of this state is like, I'm a sadist who loves games, so I'm gonna actually enter you in this life or death tournament, and I'll grant you clemency if you win, but if you lose, you die. So I think that's where I'm at. That makes Gooseberry pretty fucking formidable to me.
Yeah, jails can do this.
Yeah, it's allowed. If you're the governor, you can do it. JB, if you're listening. You can just do this. Like, I won't stop you. I'll probably get mad at you, but like, what can I do? I'm a fucking normie.
I would be very conflicted because like you have a humanitarian crisis, but it's a tournament.
Yeah, it's true. It's tough. I mean, I would hate it, but I would watch it. I'd be like, what a shame. But like, if someone pulled off a special move, I'd hoot. All right, so we can't just talk about Gooseberry being a badass, tough as nails, Khan, because it's fighting against Oogly. And Joe, have you had a Oogly?
I think our hesitance even saying its name betrays that we don't fucking know what this is. Here's my take on this fruit. It's a fucked up orange, Tom.
It's just, so what it is, I'm looking it up. I'm going on Google. So here's what I knew before. I'll give you the Google results soon. But what I knew before about the Oogly fruit, is that it's an orange. It's like a normal orange, except you know how an orange, like, you look at it and what you want to happen is it for it to be round, like a ball.
Yeah. You see it and you're like, it wouldn't be bad if I touched that.
Yeah, you want the skin to be smooth, more or less, and you want the color of it to be, I'm going to shock you, orange.
Yeah.
Ugly doesn't do any of that shit. None of those boxes are checked by this motherfucker. I also know that it shows up in the fucking New York Times crossword a lot because it has a U and an I, two vowels, and G and L are very common fucking consonants. So you see this, it's one of those fucking words that the goddamn toads at the New York Times get a huge boner for, and it makes you so mad when you see them. Like, anytime you're doing a crossword puzzle, this is a hint for you at home. If there's anything to do with like confusion, and it's 4 letters, it's a C, and if it's 5 letters, it's at sea. No one has ever said these fucking phrases in real life, but the crossword loves them.
Was this worth $100,000 of education?
It was fucking not, dude. Nothing is worth it. But moving on. So what I know about the Oogly fruit now is that this is a motherfucking natural hybrid. This is not like a man-made hybrid like so many fruits are. This is a natural hybrid of a bunch of citrus fruits that is native to Jamaica. So I feel like knowing that if I was on an island nation with a strong national heritage and there was a native fruit native to our island that was really fucked up looking and like a underdog, I would definitely be like, hell yeah, I love my ugly, shitty fruit. Hell yeah, like I get it, right?
Yeah, I see it as a point of pride now. I get that. Here's kind of my counterpoint to that. You said it was a natural hybrid.
Yeah.
Every hybrid needs to spit in God's face. Like, it needs to be something that makes the creator intervene. And I'm not getting that with this natural shit.
Frankenstein's only. Top to bottom Frankenman's.
Yeah.
Joe, okay. Hold up. I think something has happened. Holy moly. So, okay, what I did is that I was scrolling down on that Google results page and I found the official site of the Oogly fruit. And I clicked the About Us page.
Wait, is this like when you have bread and it says check out bread.com for more bread info?
I mean, maybe. I mean, this at least, it makes sense because, like, We don't fucking like. We need to check out bread.com. It's like dude, if we hadn't heard of bread and we put bread in the tournament, we'd be like, oh shit, oh god, I hope someone put up bread.com with bread facts, and we'd be like, oh, they did. And that's where we're at now, because here I'm at ugly.com, and I'm looking at the fucking banner at the top with the different pages, and this is definitely intended to be visited by fruit importers and not people. But Joe, and this is gonna hit you hard. I can tell it'll hit you hard. There's a big fucking chunk of copy explaining all about the ugly fruit and saying that it's good to eat them, and that don't worry about them being ugly. They taste nice, actually. There is a picture at the top of this copy, and it has a big pile of ugly fruit, and they look like shit. They're very misshapen. They have a sickly green and yellow color that looks bad, and they're very bumpy. However, these ugly fruit, this pile, is directly next to a sleepy bulldog.
Oh, man. So, like, that's good news to hear. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about spit in God's face. Like, that's what a bulldog is. That's what a bulldog is. So, the association I like, if only bulldogs were natural hybrids. I'm a sucker for anything. Like, they have the same face, an ugly fruit and a bulldog. They're the same thing. So, effectively voting for a bulldog, of which I am a fan of. My sister has 2 of them that I'm obsessed with. I don't want them, like, personally, like, because they're Frankensteins. But, man, are they fun.
Yeah. Breeders were like, hey, should we continue making this breed exist? Because, lungs and throats.
It's like, why don't we breed for smaller lungs and, like, droopier faces?
Yeah, like a dog doesn't need to breathe, right? Like that's optional, right? Like not all dogs need to know how to breathe. I mean, like not all dogs need to be pointers. Breathing is like the same, right? That's optional. Let's make the bulldog. Let's take out the breathing feature.
Yeah. So, based on that association, and the fact that ugly fruit also probably has asthma problems, I'm gonna go with the bulldog / ugly fruit on this. I'm not really feeling a grape with a crown.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm with you. I'll accept that.
The other thing about grapes and grape-adjacent fruits, like gooseberries, is that you can put them in a bowl and tell someone that these are eyeballs, and that's really, really scary. Yeah. To really creep people out. Please don't do that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would be done during the Monster Mash. I want to be very away from that Graveyard Smash. Do not make me be there. Okay, yeah. Ugly fruit wins this round officially. The gooseberry, I'm afraid, it loses the tournament and is executed on stage in front of everybody.
It happens.
Yep, that's jail for you. Anyway, moving on to the final bout of round 1 of the Rebels region of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament, and that's going to be Pluot, 6th seed, and I will state with no judgment and no further comments that it is spelled Pluout on the bracket. Moving on. And its opponent is Dragon Fruit, the 11 seed. Joe, what do you think?
So, out of the gate, my, hack joke was going to be does Dragon Fruit look like a dragon? Implying that, it needs to look like a dang D&D lizard. And then I looked at it, and this shit looks like a dragon scale. They delivered. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is it. You put 3 of them together, that's like a dragon thigh.
Yeah, dude. A lot of this is new content, this here fruit segment, but this bit, I'll tell you, we did on the Lost episode, is Joe asked that question. And I'm like, no, they don't look like a dragon. I've had one. They don't look like a dragon. They look pretty cool, though, but they don't look like a dragon.
All we had to do is have 2 of them together. Case closed.
Yeah, these MFs, okay, they're a vivid magenta pink, and they're scaled like a dragon. If you have a fucking box or bag full of dragon fruits, it's scaled. It scales from dragons.
Yeah, congrats on your dragon bag.
And at the end of the scale, it turns green.
And it looks like an alien fruit on top of that. So if it doesn't have the cool, group effect with the scales, singularly, they look like weird aliens.
It looks like if you took a pineapple and just sent it through the ooze that made the Mutant Ninja Turtles into radical teens. It looks like that. And Joe, I mean, holy shit, there's a lot of fruit that looks good on the outside. And there's a lot of fruit that looks good on the inside. And there's a lot of fruit that looks good on both in similar ways. This is, I think, the only fruit where the inside is just this visually stunning, especially in contrast with the outside. Because what does it look like on the inside?
It looks like beautiful styrofoam with tasty bits.
It is pure white flesh with a ton of little black dots throughout. And the fucking line between the vivid pink and the shocking white is there's no overlap. It goes from 0 to 60 instantly. It never it doesn't gradually change color.
Yeah, the exterior looks kind of alienish. The interior, it's an alien.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the only other fruit on this bracket that can come close to the dragon fruit in terms of visual panache and uniqueness is the pomegranate. But that's not in the same league, because what that has going for it is the unique structure of how the fucking seeds are set up in the middle. But visually, if you look at a pomegranate, you're like, oh, that's probably a normal fruit. And you cut it open, you're like, whoa, this isn't a normal fruit. That's crazy.
Yeah, a pomegranate is from Earth.
Exactly, yeah. It's a weird Earth fruit. The dragon fruit is you look at it and you're like, does a strange alien race use these as a type of grenade?
Yeah, this came through a portal.
So Joe, have you ever had a dragon fruit though?
No, I've not.
I actually have. I saw them at the store at Jungbu once, and I was so taken by their look that I had to have one. And also, it says it's fucking dragons are cool. I don't know if you knew that about dragons, but they're very cool. Mm-hmm. So I got it, and I took it home, and I'm like, how do you eat this? And you cut it open in half, and you eat the inside with a spoon. Got it.
You marvel the crystal inside.
Yeah, I looked at it. It was beautiful. It was like a geode. And then I took my spoon, and I took a big spoony chunk, and I put it in my mouth. And it tasted like nothing. It was the flavorless fruit. Tasted like a water.
How was the texture? Was it like watermelon, flesh?
It had more body to it than the watermelon flesh does. Watermelon flesh is very sort of crisp but brittle. This had more to it, but
Oh wait, I'm big brain in here. I'm processing this information. So you probably brought this up with the implication that it tasting like nothing is bad, right?
Yeah, because dude, here's what happened. I ate 2 more bites and threw it away. There have been fruits that I've thrown away because they're shitty. This is the only fruit I've thrown away because I'm just the effort it would take for me to move the spoon back and forth is not worth what I'm getting.
Yeah, that sounds like anemia. However, one thing that we need to consider now is that if it tastes like nothing, that means looking at it is the same as experiencing it firsthand. So
fuck,
dragon fruit is the first world's digital fruit. You
Oh
can
my
get
God.
everything out of a dragon fruit by posting. You can just look at it.
And it's this. Oh my God, Joe! Holy shit! You've unlocked my third eye.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that food media is big now, the fucking Bake Off and shit and all that, and food YouTubers. And the thing that sucks is when they make a tasty treat that you love that looks amazing, you sort of ache because of its absence because you can't be eating it.
Yeah, and you're never going to.
You never will. But with the dragon fruit, when you see a dragon fruit and you're like, damn, I can't believe I'm not eating it. Instead, I'm tasting nothing. That is eating it. Yeah.
It's the first immersive visual eating experience. This is VR without VR.
Okay. We talked a lot about dragon fruit. But this is a 2-person fight, Joe. There's another combatant in the ring we got to talk about, and it's the pluot. It's a hybrid of plum and apricot. This was done by man. This is an abomination that God hates.
Okay, cool.
And so here's the thing about pluots. A lot of stone fruits in this tournament. We got apricots. We got plums. I think that the pluot is, in my experience, the best of them all by a large margin. Every Pluot I've gotten has been juicy and delicious and such a treat to eat. I can't say the same of peaches. If you buy a peach in Chicago, you've bought garbage. Like there's never been a peach in Chicago that isn't hard.
Yeah, it's actually a ball of sandpaper. You got tricked. It sucks.
But Pluots are really good. They're tasty. They got a nice sort of deep red flesh. Very juicy. I like them a lot.
Okay, all right. So they have the strongest power level of all the stone fruits. That's appealing. The thing is, like, the best stone fruit is just still stone fruit. It's got a weird name that I spelled correctly. But, like, other than that, what you're explaining is not a unique experience. You're like, all these stone fruits run in parallel, and this happens to just be the best version of it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're making a case for the best palette swap to me right now, and I'm not loving it.
I think this may be low-key the worst possible round one matchup for the Pluot now that I'm thinking about it. Because you're right that it is a palette swap, and it's a palette swap for the model that has the most palette swaps. And the palette swaps, the differences between them are so minor.
Yeah. We're talking like Dragon Quest slimes at this point.
Yeah, like just very, very slight variations on color.
Its opponent is the most visually impressive thing that's ever happened.
Exactly. We got style versus substance. The style side of the equation has more style than any fruit ever has, and the substance side of the equation is just really solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best ever beats really solid, unfortunately. And this sucks, because I love Pluots, but like this, you've trapped it with facts and logic.
One of my favorite Kengan Ashura guys is just that MMA guy who's just like really good. Like he's just a really well-rounded tactical guy, and that's what Pluot sounds like to me in this matchup.
Yeah, and just like in Kengan Ashura, it's going to get beaten in the first round by a guy with weird gimmicks.
Yeah, and the gimmick in that fight was the Fang loves to get a creepy smile when he's about to do a murder. That was the gimmick of that.
Isn't the gimmick that like he has different fight personalities that he can cycle through? He's like Joker from Persona. He can just change his persona.
Yeah, that's basically it. And then he gets I can't stress how funny it is that like he is in Kengan Omega, which is the series after, and I'm not saying this because it's the Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse special word, but he's normal now.
That was the best shit, because like that was a runner in Kengan Ashura, is that like this guy is the scariest and strongest fighter, and also like he has a weird backstory where like he never talked to a person and he only ever fought. His
origin story is that there's a forbidden type of Chinese sorcery where you put centipedes in a jar, and the strongest one that eats the other ones is used for spells. And he is the human version of the centipede jar. He was locked in a tomb with other fight boys, and he emerged.
Yep, and like one of the idiot squad, like the dopes who like hang out with our main character, is like, damn, that guy, he's like the boss monster of this tournament. And he like heard them and he's like, excuse me, I'm sorry, like what's a boss monster? And he's like, oh, it's from video games. He's like, video games, huh? And like so like in the background, this ultimate monstrous badass is like learning about anime every once in a while. I'm glad he developed and became a normal guy.
Yeah, he kind of has like a traditional midlife crisis because he just gets a motorcycle at the end.
This shit owns. We're getting away from the fruit, which is the the point of this shit. I think Dragon Fruit wins. Folks, yeah. Dragon Fruit wins this round. I didn't think it would happen, but it happened.
A one-of-a-kind visual aesthetic experience. We're going to give it to the fruit from Mars.
Yeah. Yeah, like fucking, you know what? I'm not an ASMR guy. It doesn't appeal to me, but I would not mind an ASMR video that's just like someone who bought a crate of dragon fruits, kind of like stirring them and like cutting one of them in half and being like, whoa.
Just being like, this doesn't taste like much.
Damn, it's like I'm tasting nothing. In a way, doesn't that make it feel like you're tasting it too? And I'm like, oh my god. This shit's so dumb. I love the fruit tournament. It's so
I do.
stupid.
Can I ask you a question before we close that I took a note of as you were talking? Did you imply that the thing that the ooze did to the turtles was that it made them teens?
I guess I did.
Like, everything else was the same. But the fact is that the ooze made normal turtles 16.
It made them have a rocking tood, dude. It made them love pizza.
Yeah, but like the bipedalness and like the thumbs.
Yeah, that's normal turtle stuff.
Okay, all right. All right.
Charles Darwin wrote all about this. So folks, we have completed all 4 regions of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament, round 1. So now, next time we return to the Fruit Annihilation Tournament, it's going to be round 2. All those heavy fucking hitters who got buys in the first round, they're going to have to start fighting.
They've been warming up.
Yeah, their special moves are off cooldown. Their ultimate ability is fully charged. There's going to be some fucking bloodshed.
Yeah. Also, we'll probably say some shit that's wrong with regards to the fruit.
Yeah, oh, definitely. We're going to make you mad. We're going to say indefensible stuff. You're going to say, how dare you say that? Justify yourself, and we'll say, what are you talking about? That's the way it is. And also, you may think like, oh, in bracketed tournaments, every subsequent round is shorter to get through because there's fewer combatants. And that means that, it took a long time for us to get through round 1, but round 2 is going to be half as long. Well, no, because it's exactly the same amount of combatants, because each region had 4 fruits eliminated, and there are 4 fruits with buys. So it's going to take us 3 months to do round 2?
Yeah, making these brackets is hard. I don't know what... 48, that's a rough number. Someone else do better.
We were dumb as shit. We'll never do this again. Thank you for listening, folks. This has been Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.